Welcome back to Create Academy and the SketchUp Beginner Course, Learn 3D Modeling from Scratch. In Chapter 1, Episode 3, we will learn how to create a 2D drawing within SketchUp. Because that's the step we have to take before we can actually start modeling. We have to create a 2D drawing first. And we're starting right now. We are back in the main menu and we want to create a new scene for our exercise. You may have noticed that there is a Start Modeling button, but we have always clicked on Create New so far. That's because the Start Modeling button will automatically set the units to inch, since SketchUp's origin is in the United States. So we click on Create New to set the units to millimeter. For your own projects, you can use any units you like, of course. And since we don't need the default sketch for this exercise, we are going to select it with left mouse button. And to delete it, we can press the delete key on the keyboard. To have an optimal working surface, we orbit the view and pan it to the side. The drawing tools are located in the toolbar on the left side. We will click on the pen symbol. Here we have the line tool and the freehand tool. Let's select the line tool first and start drawing by placing our starting point with left mouse button. Then we have to move the mouse to draw the line. If we move the mouse close to one of the axes, the line tool will snap, and if we move the mouse away from the axis, the line tool will unsnap from the axis. With every further left click, a new point is set and a new line can be drawn. We will now cross several lines, and while doing so, you will notice that some areas are filled automatically. To create a filled area, we need a closed composite of at least 3 lines, as we have right here. When a surface is filled, the line tool detaches itself from the drawing and we can create new lines or continue with an existing drawing. By the way, you can always navigate around the sketch or object without disconnecting the tool. If you want to disconnect the tool manually though, you can press the escape key on the keyboard at any time. Before we use the freehand tool, we will delete our first drawing to avoid being distracted. We can select the drawing by pressing Ctrl and A. This shortcut selects everything that is in our 3D viewport. Since we only have one drawing in the scene, only that one will be selected in this case. We then press the delete key to delete the sketch. Now select the freehand tool from the toolbar, click and hold left mouse button and move the mouse to create the drawing. As soon as we close the outer shape and release the left mouse button, the surface will be filled. But you can tell from the outer edge that the tool is very inaccurate, so it's actually not used very often. But for the beginning, you can practice it a bit. When you are done, press Ctrl and A and delete the sketch. We can also draw prepared shapes in SketchUp. If we click on this icon, we can select the rectangle tool, for example. We set the starting point of the rectangle by left-clicking, and by moving the mouse we can extend the drawing. With a second left-click, we can confirm the shape. As these shapes are always closed, the surface will be filled automatically. If we orbit the view from top to bottom and draw a second rectangle next to it, we can now slowly move the mouse, and you can see that a dotted line will appear. With the help of this dotted line, we can draw a square or, alternatively, a rectangle in golden section. For this purpose, we draw another rectangle next to it, then slowly move the mouse and wait for the pop-up golden section. Now confirm the shape with a second left click. Side note: the golden section is a design rule known since ancient times and describes the division ratio of 2 sizes to each other. This division is considered as a balanced guiding principle and is perceived by humans as particularly harmonious. The golden section is common in nature and even in the human body, but can also be found in art, architecture, typography, and, of course, also in SketchUp. Now back to content. Let's move the view aside to have enough space for demonstrating the other tools. Next, we have the rotated rectangle tool. But since this tool is as little used as the freehand tool, we will skip it and continue with the circle tool instead. By left-clicking, we can set the center of the circle, and as we move the mouse, the shape can be drawn. To confirm the shape, we left-click again. If we zoom in though, you can tell that the outer line appears angular. This is because the circle is drawn with 24 sides by default. Imagine it like this. If you draw a circle on a piece of paper by just connecting straight lines, the more lines, in SketchUp we call them sides, you use, the rounder the circle will appear. To change the number of sides of the circle tool, we need to reselect it from the toolbar. Now pay attention to the measurements field. And just enter the number 100 using the number keys on your keyboard. We don't even have to click into the field. We can use the keyboard keys directly to change the amount of sides. We confirm with the Enter key on the keyboard. And if we now draw another circle, we can see that this circle no longer has any angular gradations. By the way, we can set a maximum of 999 sides, but this is really a lot and could crash your browser. 100 sides are quite sufficient for a nice circle. Next up, we have the polygon tool. A left click to set the center point, move the mouse to draw the shape, and left click again to confirm. To change the number of sides, we have to reselect the tool and, for example, entering 100 using the number keys. Don't forget to press the Enter key to confirm. If we now draw our second polygon, it actually looks like the 100-sided circle. But when we start modeling in the next episode, we will see that there is indeed a difference between these two shapes. For the moment, we will leave it like that. At this point, I would like to give you some additional information, especially about the polygon tool. We have already learned that we can adjust the number of sides when reselecting a tool from the toolbar. This will apply for the circle and the polygon tool. So if we now reselect the polygon tool, we have the previously set 100 sides, but we can directly enter a new number to change the amount another time. For example, we can type in 3 and confirm by pressing the Enter key. And now we can use the polygon tool to draw a triangle. Now let's have a look at the 3D text tool. As soon as we click on the tool, a new window will open. Here we can enter a specific text, change the font, change the writing style, and we can also change the font size and text extrusion. If we click on OK, we can position the text with the mouse and place it with left clicking. The text will then have a blue border. That means it is selected. To deselect the text, we need to click inside the 3D viewport using the Select tool. I will display you the 3D text window once more to clarify which value defines the height and which value defines the text extrusion. For demonstration, I will use the Line tool, but you don't have to follow these steps. The value for the height defines the distance from this point to this point. And the value for the text extrusion defines the distance from this point to this point. This brings us to the end of the third episode. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel to keep track of upcoming videos. In the next episode, we will learn how to create a 3D object out of the 2D drawing. Sounds interesting? Then I will see you there.